Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Amy, and today we're going to do a bit of a story time. And I guess the title of this story is going to be called The Time I Had to Wear Pajama Pants Out in Public. And that's not really the focus of the story, though. It's just going to be the title. I'm going to try to move here. I'm so sorry. Alright, sorry, I had so many stuffed animals there. I gotta move because I'm right next to a window. I feel like if I'm any closer, I'm just going to fall through the window. I don't want that to happen. But anyway, so I don't know if it's so popular now as it was back in the 2010s, but it seemed like in the 2010s, everyone was wearing pajama pants out in public. And no offense if you do that, but I really hate that trend, and I'm not judging. You can come at me in the comments if you feel like I'm being judgmental. It's just, to me, it makes it makes one look very lazy. And I'm so sorry if that offends anyone. You can come at me in the comments if you want to, but anyway. So this happened in March of 2012. I want to say it was the 24th. It was later in the month anyway, and it was a Saturday night. So to give you a little background on the story, in my high school years, which were 2011 through 2015, I was very into health and fitness. I loved eating healthy, and I loved working out. Well, I didn't really love working out, but I did. I worked out a lot more than I do now. And anyway, my cousin and his wife knew this, and they had a treadmill they were getting rid of, and they asked my family and I if we wanted it. I'm like, heck yes, I'll take that treadmill. Because I figured it would be great to use to work out with. And that was a few days before New Year's Eve, and they brought it New Year's Eve, and my dad helped my cousin put it in the basement. It was a huge treadmill, and it had, I don't know if every treadmill's built like this, but this treadmill had 10 levels of speed. So I figured I would start it the next day, which was January 1st, obviously, and that was a Sunday. So I figured I would start that day and just walk on the treadmill, and each week I would build up my speed. And I only did the treadmill maybe 3 days a week or 4 days a week, depending on the week. I would alternate. And I did it for 10 minutes at a time. And eventually, I built my speed up to speed 10, which was pretty much running. And when I started the running stages, it really started to affect my asthma, which my asthma is pretty mild, but this was pretty exhausting exercise. So I decided I was going to break it down into two sessions of running, so maybe 5-minute sessions twice a day. And when it got really chaotic, when it was level 10, I decided, I'm going to break it down into 4 sessions instead of just 2, because my asthma is really starting to get affected by this. And if I remember correctly, I was using my inhaler before I started the running on the treadmill each day. And okay, so we're pretty much caught up to speed. I'm at level 10 on the treadmill, and the treadmill had a string on it, and you're supposed to hold on to the string and then pull it out if you're gonna fall or something, we had to stop it immediately. And you'll see why that's important in a minute. So it's March 24th, and it's about 9:30 at night on Saturday. And my mom had just come home from the nursing home, visiting my grandmother, and she's up here where I'm at now, getting ready to take her bath. And I'm about to go in the basement and do my last running session of the night on the treadmill. And we have this, on the main level, we have an extra bedroom. We're not really using it now, but we never really used it for anything in particular. It's just been kind of there, always been there. But at the time it had a door on it, but it doesn't have a door anymore. But my brother was in there listening to music and probably studying because at the time he was a pharmacy technician student. And so I decided I'm going to go in the basement and do my last session of running. And again, keep in mind these sessions of running, they're only about 2.5 minutes because I cut it down from 10 minutes to 5 to 2.5 minutes. So I'm in minute 1 and I'm just running like this on the treadmill. And I start to notice that I feel like I'm going to lose my balance. So I'm like, I feel like I'm going to fall. And then for a minute, or for a split second, I think I start feeling like, okay, I can catch myself. I'm not going to fall. And then right, just like that, it's like, okay, no, I'm going to fall. So I accepted my fate and I fell. And that string, remember I told you about that string? It just flew back and I lost it and I couldn't stop the treadmill. So I'm literally running on my hands and knees. Like, oh my god, what am I going to do? Oh my god, what am I going to do to stop this? And I was thinking, oh wait, no, just stop moving. Don't move anymore. Stop it. So I stopped moving, and the wise thing to do would be to put both hands up. Sorry about this weird angle. Like this in the air. But I did not do the wise thing. I left my hands on the part of the treadmill you run on, whatever it's called, and my right hand slid under the belt on the left side. And it was just these 3 fingers. If I remember correctly, my index finger and my thumb were not in the belt. It was just these 3. The ring finger of the pinky and the middle finger. And for a minute, my mind is just going like, how did my hand slide under the belt in the treadmill, and how am I going to get it out? And my mind just kept alternating between those 2 things. So eventually, or not really eventually, I had to decide pretty quickly. I decided I'm going to pull out my hand very gently, and I pulled it out. And when it was in the treadmill, it hurt so bad. So I pulled out my hand, and these 3 fingers are just skinned. The pinky was down to the bone. And the pinky was the worst. You could probably see the scar, but it healed up pretty quickly. Or healed up pretty well. And you could tell that one's been through it. And this one, it recovered pretty well, but it was scratched up a bit too. But, anyway, I'm like, oh god, this ain't good. So I dust myself off. And I was wearing shorts on the treadmill, so my legs are pretty scratched up too, but they're not half as bad as my hands, okay? But, I dust myself off, get my shoes back on, turn off the treadmill, kind of flipped off the string, and I walk up the stairs, our very narrow basement stairs, very calmly, quickly but calmly, and didn't think to go ask the medical student for any advice. I decided to go upstairs, through the kitchen, through the living room, upstairs to my mom and knock very gently, like that. She opens the door and I'm like, I fell on the treadmill. She says, are you okay? And I was like, no, not really. Showed her. She's like, oh my god. And she hollers for my brother to come up, and my brother starts cleaning it with peroxide and then starts bandaging it up. And my mom called my uncle that lived 5 minutes away and told him what happened. And he comes over and he says, it's pretty bad. You're going to have to go to the hospital. So we drove to the hospital. My mom called my dad on the way and told him what happened. He asked if he needed to come home, and my mom said no. I mean, it's serious, but it's not that serious. So we didn't go to the hospital. That's about 15 or 20 minutes from here. We went to a different one. And I feel like it wasn't very busy that night in the emergency room, thankfully. And I was able to get seen pretty quickly. So in between the time I forgot to mention this. So I couldn't wear my shorts to the hospital because I'm very self-conscious about my legs in general. It had nothing to do with the fact they were covered in bruises from the treadmill. But I had to put pajama pants on, my Coca-Cola pajama pants. I don't think I still have them anymore, but I had to put those on. And So I didn't think much of it. I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna have to go to the hospital. And these, I mean, they've probably seen worse, so they're not really gonna say anything. They're not really gonna care. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine, whatever. I'll put them on. And so I'm in the waiting room. So they take me from the waiting room back there, and they put my hand in a cleaning solution with whatever, so I can disinfect and sanitize it. And the doctor asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain? So between the time that the hand went in the treadmill and by the time I got to the hospital, the pain was gone. So I'm like, believe it or not, my pain's a 0. And the doctor's like, are you serious? I would have been crying my head off if I were you. I'm like, yeah, I really don't have any pain right now. So pretty soon they take me to x-ray, and they x-rayed to see if anything was broken. And believe it or not, thankfully, there was nothing broken. It was just pretty bruised up. So, they had to bandage it up, and they instructed me to leave it bandaged up. And this is my dominant hand, so it kind of sucked, so I couldn't really use it. So I had to use my left hand to write. And I'm not terrible at writing in my left hand, but you can tell it's not my dominant hand. So I did get to take 2 weeks of spring break that year for my homeschool, for my online homeschooling, because it was very flexible and I could pretty much decide when to go on spring break or fall break or whatever. So that was a nice thing. I was able to have a little extra time off. But anyway, so they bandaged it up and they gave me a prescription for pain medication. I believe something to, I want to say there was another pill too, but I don't really remember what it was or what it was for. But anyway, so and then they set me up for an appointment to get it checked out a few days later at their clinic. But anyway, so this is where I had to wear pajama pants in Walgreens. So I was so embarrassed. I was more embarrassed about the fact I had to wear my Coca-Cola pajama pants in Walgreens than I was about my hand injury. I had to wear it in Walgreens, and the Walgreens we went to was 24 hours. I don't know how many are 24 hours, but I don't know very many that are, but this one was 24 hours. So there were only 2 people working. There was a cashier and then there was a pharmacy person. And they're both like, hey, what happened? I told them a treadmill beat me up. So, yeah, I was so embarrassed about having to wear my pajama pants in Walgreens. And so we got the meds, and I think I purchased a plushie or lip balms or something because I had been through it that night. And then we came home, and the hand healed up pretty quickly. I did what I needed to do, cleaned it, kept it bandaged, and the appointment on that following Wednesday went pretty well. The doctor said it was healing well, but he instructed me at home to leave it uncovered, and when I went out in public, covered up, which made sense. But yeah, for like a month or so, I had to walk around with a hand injury that looked a lot worse than it actually was. So I guess the moral of the story here is don't use treadmills. I don't have my treadmill anymore. We got rid of it about a year and a half later. But anyway, yeah, don't run on treadmills. And that's the story. That's the story of how I had to wear pajama pants out in public. So that was about it. So I don't know how to end this video, but I hope you enjoyed, and bye.